YouTubers, I am the Weather Dude. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you all for tuning back into this weather presentation for January 7th, 2020. Happy New Year! I know it's been a while, but yes, it is the new year, and we have a new storm in the mid-Atlantic, a winter storm actually that's happening right now, and we're actually going to be keeping an eye on that storm right now. I'm going to be doing like a little live coverage thing for it today. As always, please consider watching the whole video, and that, some people could get a few inches of snow out of this. It's hitting right now. I'm in a bit of a lull outside. I know outside, it's already dark and 6 o'clock, but it is snowy, but once that, back edge comes through, a lot of people like, in Delaware, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania, and even parts of northeastern Maryland have yet to see that steady band of snow work through, and it's pretty much at DC right now. And let me show you what I'm talking about. So here is the Weather Channel radar here, and I turn up the opacity, not because to make the colors darker and to make it seem like there's a lot of snow on the radar, but the opacity really points out where the heaviest snow is. That's why I like to turn up the opacity. Not to 100% because I still got to see the cities too, but I really suggest if you look at radar, put the opacity between 90 and 95%. It's really like the best zone to put it in. So you can see the cities and at the same time get a good radar view. And you can see this is where the heavy snow is right now. And let's actually get a more zoomed in view. So like I said, that back edge, once the back edge of really heavy snow comes through, after that it's basically done. It's not like, oh, here's heavy snow, here's some lighter snow over here, and then it's done. No, it's heavy snow and then it's done. There's really, you could be looking outside 1 second, it'll be, snowing heavily, and then all of a sudden it's like, gone. Where I am, it was supposed to change over to snow at 6 o'clock. About 2 hours ago at 4 o'clock, it switched. I was like, look outside. All of a sudden, it just started snowing. So, of course, that made me very happy. But, we all got to be careful commuting out there. But some really heavy rain moving through. I believe that is southern Delaware right now, like super heavy rain. It's like almost like in a circle. It's like really weird. It's like got somewhere over here, somewhere over there, but not in the middle. That'd be funny if the center of the low pressure is there, but it's not. Okay. Probably somewhere out in the Atlantic right here. And where that rain is, yes, that is like southern Delaware, like probably just west of Georgetown. It's not exactly the beaches, but pretty close to there. But again, you see what I'm saying with the, the heavy snow, man. We got, this is like an actual band here, and then this is like a huge chunk of heavy snow. But then after that, look, it's the cutoff line. That's it. Places like Philly, Wilmington, I know Baltimore and DC are definitely over the snow, but Philly, Wilmington, you're starting to see a change over to some snowfall. And let's refresh this real quick. This is just going to show the snowfall in the past 24 hours. Baltimore, yes, we are reporting 36 in snowfall. And Wilmington along 995 is 35 in rain. But I think you're probably more of like a mix. But look how much snow we picked up already. Probably like an inch or two. Back here, even a few inches down towards West Virginia, Roanoke, where they've seen the precipitation already. Obviously, the higher elevations, it's been a lot, a lot more higher totals. But don't listen to this because you see the pink is like 20 inches. Don't actually think that Virginia or West Virginia right there, or actually Northern Virginia, is seeing 20 inches already. That's not right. I know you're thinking that when you see it. Just think of that as like maybe like 6 inches. Because sometimes, this map can get a little bit bullish. And as a snow lover, I like that, but at the same time, it's got to be reasonable. But where the light blue is, that technically means less than an inch of snow. Means some snow is accumulated where the light blue is. Basically, think of the light blue as where it's been snowing. That's where the snow has fallen. Doesn't necessarily mean it's sticking, but where that very light blue is. So, not quite Philly yet. Oh, we got to refresh. And yes, Philly is now in the snow. So yes, Philly is seeing at least a little bit of snow. Not quite getting down to Dover, Newark, yes, Baltimore, DC, but it just hasn't gotten to Richmond at all. So yes, that's where you're seeing your snow. Hey, we got some reason traffic camera. There's no traffic cameras for DC, and all of them don't show snow on the ground. And I was watching on live television that DC had snow on the ground by some of the interstates, and I couldn't find those kind of cameras on here. But you can see by the haze and the fuzz that the snow is definitely falling. Okay, not sure. This is DC, yes. So, according to AccuWeather, it's actually raining in DC right now, although I don't really agree with that, but where it says rain ending in 19 minutes, think of that as snow ending in 19 minutes. So, in about 20 minutes, DC will be done with the snow. But look, AccuWeather is getting at the same thing I was talking about with the Weather Channel map. Here's a real lot of heavy snow that's going to push right up through here. And that's why places like eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, northeastern Maryland could even pick up a couple inches of snow when this is all said and done, depending on that how heavy the snowfall rate is. And let me just briefly go, because I will be talking about this briefly later. Some of those snow squalls on the lake effect snow coming through tomorrow could get down to the I-95 corridor. We're talking about Boston to New York to Philly, possibly getting a 1 or 2 lake effect snow bands. I know that happened to me once. I was just sitting down, and all of a sudden I look outside and there's the snow, and it comes really fast. Okay, that's why it's called. They have what's called whiteouts, rapid whiteouts, rapid freeze ups. Snow really comes down, and this is what I'm saying, because a lot of places will drop below 32 at some point tonight. So even if the snow doesn't stick on the road, it could refreeze tonight, even if it doesn't stick now. Which, no, am I saying a 2-hour delay tomorrow for anybody? No, not really, unless you live, by West Virginia maybe. But no delays that I can actually see. I don't think, because this stuff will all be gone, and chances are that temperatures, even though they'll drop below 32 overnight, I think like 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that might actually go back to 36 for a lot of places, and 37. So that would melt even if the ice was there. But still, you never know. I know I was in the car once and it was 36 degrees and hit a patch of ice. Thank God everything turned out well, but you get my point. All right, so here's Baltimore, and AccuWeather is saying that the snow could last for another hour. Baltimore, you see heavy at times. So for the next 45 minutes, expect some steady to heavy snow. Then for about 45 minutes on, so that'd be about from 6:45 to 7. Expect some light snow, maybe 7:15 at the latest, but after that the snow's gone. Okay, because obviously it's going to taper off from west to east or southwest to northeast, and that's going to be how the snow is going to taper off. But do stick around, because actually coming up after this right here, I'm going to be showing you some cool National Weather Service graphics to explain the storm a lot better. Here, so that was Baltimore. The one I showed you was DC before that, and here is Philly. You can go up to I-95. I'm not really going to say New York yet, because this only goes out, the minicast goes out 2 hours, and New York probably won't be getting into snow until later. They're still in a lull right now. But again, a lot of places start out as rain. So Philly, awkwardly, it says rain for the next 50 minutes and then changing over to snow. I don't quite agree with that, because I'm sure it's starting to at least start mixing. The rain's starting to mix with snow in Philly. But yes, I do expect snow, and it will be a steady snow, okay, for the next 90 minutes, even through 120 minutes. And then you can see there's the radar again. And you can see, according to AccuWeather, coastal Jersey is getting really, hammered with the snow right now. Let's see if we go into future mode. All right, let's go to future mode. So you can see there's the snow. It gets down to Wilmington, Philly, obviously it's changing over. But I want you to notice, if I drag to the end of the loop, look at that dark blue. Oh, it's so close to me. Okay. But it will be pushing through eventually. So there's that dark blue going to move through Wilmington. It's eventually going to move through Philly. And that dark blue, right, let's just watch how that progresses. So see at the beginning of the future loop. All right, we got the dark blue right here, just west of, is that Columbia? Yeah, Columbia. So just west of Columbia. Right, let me just bring this up in here. All right, so that's Columbia. That's where it is now. Now watch this. It dips a little bit south, and you can really tell. I don't know if I can control the opacity with this, but you can really tell right there. That's where it is at the end of the loop. So in about an hour, it moves closer to Newcastle County, and then eventually into Bucks County, eventually into Philadelphia. I don't know if it's called Philadelphia County. But yes, into Philadelphia, and eventually up through Trenton. I mean, the heavy snow is gonna be on the backside. And like I keep explaining, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you're going to keep hearing me say this, but the heaviest snow is going to be closer to that rain snow line, because that's where a lot of the warmer temperatures are. But you don't want them too warm, because then it's not snow, it's rain. Those snowflakes can get a lot bigger, and therefore more snow. So here's one of the National Weather Service graphics I'll be mentioning here. This says the weather type at 5 o'clock p.m. Okay, and this was made at 5:30. So basically, they made this map at 5:30, saying 5 o'clock. What's going on? I don't really agree with the winter, because there's, and trust me, these guys, National Weather Service, I'm not saying they're usually they're kind of on a warm bias, a less snow bias, but I don't know. I mean, they're a National Weather Service. I mean, kind of respect them a little bit, but don't always think. But so according to them, okay, Philly, Medford, you get down towards Vineland, Millville, even Dover, Easton, they're saying wintry mix. Not a chance of wintry mix, but like likely. That dark purple means like likely wintry mix, like it is rain and snow. The light pink up there towards Doylestown and Morristown, up to New Brunswick, like in here, that's saying a chance of wintry mix. So I don't quite agree with that. What I do agree with, however, is the fact that the snow getting just down the Wilmington, the I-95 corridor. Remember, this is tapering off from west to east. The snow starts west to east. So that's why you're like, well, D.C. is warmer than, a place like Trenton, Philadelphia. Yes, they are typically a degree or two warmer, or even a couple degrees warmer. However, the I-95 is going west, so the farther west you go, like D.C. was seeing snow a lot, before Philly. D.C. was seeing snow, Philly was seeing rain, because this is the more, the west you are, the farther west you are, the, not saying D.C. is going to get more snow than Philly. Matter of fact, I think Philly might end up with a little bit more than D.C. Maybe like more like a couple inches. I know D.C. probably got like an inch or two. But up towards Sussex, Allentown, Doylestown, Trenton, probably like a chance of wintry mix at 5 o'clock. The Poconos, a chance of snow. It's like light blue, lavender. I don't even know what you would call that. So here's the expected snowfall. And this was made at 4:14. So and this was valid January 7th at 7 o'clock. So basically, it's just saying from January 7th at 7 o'clock. If you started seeing snow before 7 o'clock, this is basically your additional snowfall. If you saw snow before 7 o'clock today, which it's only 6, so if you're seeing snow now or before 7 o'clock, think of this as your additional snowfall. Look at this. Doylestown, Freehold, Philadelphia, Medford, 2 inches additional. Even back towards, Berks County, Kennett Square, Coatesville, that's when you start to get down to 1 inch additional because you're going farther west. Remember, it's tapering off from west to east. Even Atlantic City, Dover, Easton could even pick up, maybe like a graze or like a little bit less than an inch. But it's not going to get down to Georgetown. Maybe some of the, I don't know if you're ever driving down Route 1, the Delaware beaches, and you start seeing those non-official beaches like Slaughter Beach and Slaughter Neck, and I don't know a lot of the other ones. I think one's called Long Beach. Like those, not like Rehoboth or anything, but like those northern beaches that are not quite at the actual shoreline. Those beaches could even pick up less than an inch of snow, but I wouldn't even count on that. Okay, once you get to the coastal areas, okay, it starts to warm up. You can get the water influence, and it's probably just going to be mostly a rain event. Maybe briefly changing over to a little bit of rain and snow for about 30 minutes, and it's done. So, again, here's the timing of the winter precipitation. You can see Atlantic City, Toms River. You can see 10 p.m. That basically means it's going to be rain until then, and at 10 p.m. it's going to change to a mix of rain and snow for like a brief half hour. But places like, let's see, when was this made? This was made 6 o'clock this morning. Okay. So as you can see, again, they were saying 6 o'clock, and I started seeing snow at 4. So, I mean, it's giving you an idea, though. New Brunswick, Medford, Vineland, Dover, and Easton, 7, 8 o'clock p.m. Obviously, as you go northwest towards Coatesville and Reading, it gets, 5 o'clock. So they probably see that. I think Reading and Coatesville has been seeing snow since like 2, 3, because they're in the suburbs. They're colder, obviously. And after this, I'm going to be talking a little bit about the lake effect threat tomorrow, and we will be wrapping up. So maybe parts of Long Island, just south of Philly, and some of the mountains over there in northern Virginia and western Maryland, you have moderate impacts. This is basically the winter storm severity index. Yellow means minor impacts, but that orange means some potentially more moderate impacts. It could be threatening to life and property. Some damage is unavoidable. Typically results in disruptions to daily life. But most people, like myself, are in that yellow color. It's really a direct threat to life and property. Typically, inconvenience, yes, but no total destruction like major or extreme on here. But moderate, definitely going to see some more problems, and that is according to the National Weather Service. All right, here's the high resolution model. Again, you could, do they have, you might have like a new, because they come up with new model runs like every 30 minutes to a half hour. Here we go. So again, look, this is 7 o'clock, and they're saying at 7 o'clock that snow is getting all the way down to like the southern Delaware Bay. We're starting to report, or they're going to report snow. This This model run is 6 o'clock. This is the 6 p.m. model run. Okay, this is for 7 o'clock because they can't get current radar. It's just, for the next 1 hour. Here's the next 2 hours. You can see here's 8, 9, 10. And now they're saying we could even have it lasting until 10 o'clock. Portion of eastern Pennsylvania, Delaware. For me, it was supposed to be out of here by 9 o'clock. And you can see 11 o'clock definitely going to start making its way up. But again, I mean, for the Jersey Shore, could even see, 9 to 11. And at least for you, it's changing to snow at least well after dark. So that sun is going down. And we got nothing to worry about. But look at this. Again, right near that rain snow line. Look at that. That's where the heaviest snow is really falling. It's where the snowflakes are very large. You're going to produce a lot of snow out of them. And then Cape Cod could even get grazed. But I'm going to be honest right now that Boston, this could even be like a dud for you. So again, probably another inch or two here for the Mid-Atlantic. I think the most snow, especially like I said, that with that closer to the rain snow line, maybe Cape Cod and Nantucket could even pick up 3 or 4 inches, but that's going to mainly be over the water. And then what I'm going to talk about now, which they haven't, this HRR doesn't go out far enough, but what we're going to be talking about now is the lake effect snow portion of this. But actually, let's go back to this model run. Okay, so again, there's 2 inches for that model run, but this goes out 18 hours. The model run, the recent one, just only goes out 10 hours. So again, look, you can see that by 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, you got snow. Because this storm, according to this model, is really wound up. So that's really going to be pumping in the wind and the precipitation off the Great Lakes. And don't worry, okay, if you're living on I-95 corridor and you hear lake effect snow, you typically just dust it off, just blow it off out of your head. You don't care. And I don't blame you. I'm like that sometimes too, because you hear lake effect snow, and it's only by the Great Lakes, Lake Erie. And that's true, but not only by there. It can sometimes, if the storm is really wound up, okay, and basically lake effect snow occurs when the Great Lakes waters are warm, the air above it is cold. So the greater the difference between the two, a lot more heavier snowfall rates or rainfall rates are present. Because not all lake effect, precipitation is all snow. Sometimes it can come off as rain as well. But so when you're looking at this, okay, sometimes if the storm is really wound up and the wind is really strong coming from the northwest, sometimes these snow bands can make it down to the I-95. If the storm is really strong, if that backside wind is really strong, it can blow those snow bands to the I-95 corridor. But usually they're really weak and just really dissipated by the time to get there. Although I do remember about a couple years ago, I was on my way to an orthodontist appointment, and all of a sudden, just out of the blue, woof, the snow just came down, and it just started covering the roads. Even though it was like 35 degrees, it started covering the roads, started covering the car. Again, it only lasted about, I want to say 5-10 minutes, maybe 20, but they don't last very long, but they're very quick hitting, dangerous, bouts of snow that can produce whiteouts. Basically, you can't see in front of you, and the snow that falls from them, even if the snow melts, like I said before, even if the snow melts and turns into, water on the roadway, keep in mind, if it drops below freezing that night, you're going to have a lot of ice and even some black ice threats. So look at this. So here's the RJet model. So you can see this is all rain. That yellow is heavy rain. All that. Okay. You can tell where the yellow, that really heavy rain on the radar, where that yellow intersected with the cold air, it turned into a dark blue. So it went from heavy rain to heavy snow just by crossing a little line. Okay, that's what happens when the moisture overrides that cold air. So again, I wanted to show you this mainly to show you the lake effect snow, because I don't know why this is saying Philly is going to have rain at 6 o'clock, because it's actually snowing there right now. But this run's a little bit old, but it gives you an idea. So here comes the lake effect snow, and look how ridiculous. I mean, I'm not saying ridiculous as in not true, but look at the snowfall rate. It's incredible. I mean, look across portions of near Erie and Buffalo. I mean, that's I want to see the snow total map after this. And you can even see, look, here's my example. Some lake effect snow bands making off of portions of the Great Lakes, Lake Erie. Because look at the storm. Look at those isobars, how tightly packed they are. There's your wound up storm. We even have a little upper level disturbance up there, if you direct your attention up there, that's driving even more of a northwest wind, as well as the main storm over here. And I hope YouTube doesn't select that as my cover image because they're going there. Alright, but I'm sure you can choose your own, which I can, so just sometimes they can select it for you. Anyway, so let's watch that snow, and notice you can even tell where the warmer air is set up. The warmer air is set up, well, actually that's too far west. The warm air is set up right down here. You wanna know how I know? Well, according to this model, watch this. I want you to watch right around here. I mean, snow could be present. Philly, northern Delaware, DC could even have a little bit of snow, according to this model. But watch this. Watch as I head. Now you got to keep in mind, this is 11 o'clock. We're heading towards noon now, what I'm about to show you. So, you know, we're getting to the warmer part of the day. Plus, as those bands make their way east, they're going to run into some warmer air. So you combine those two factors, and a lot of the snow bands will become little, you know, light rain bands that could produce some sprinkles. Then we got a really heavy band that comes through Pennsylvania and Jersey. But look what happens when it runs into New York. It's rain. Because, you know, the metropolitans, DC, Baltimore, Philly, New York, Boston, all those areas, okay, are going to be warmer than their suburbs. For example, Philadelphia might be, let's say the nighttime temperature gets down to 37 degrees, and maybe outside, like near Harrisburg, or not Harrisburg, that's too far away. A place like Reading could probably be like 30. Okay, it's because the city is so much pollution, and after heat bubbles, so much traffic, and that's why also you can also be warmer if you're living by an interstate. And that's why also the interstates always fare so much better when it comes to snowstorms or especially in snow, like minor snow events like this. The snow really doesn't stick due to the temperatures being warm, but if you put the same storm system on a back road, I mean, the snow's going to stick a lot better. It's colder. There's not much, you know, there's not as much traffic. It's, you know, things you got to keep in mind. But New York, we'll see rain, but eventually that snow band comes through, could flip over to snow. But like I said, this is one model run, and not quite sure about this yet. But let me look at the snowfall totals, because like I showed you earlier, that super heavy snow coming through Buffalo, I bet that's probably, and I didn't really look at this yet, probably about 6 inches I'm betting. Oh, look at that. So, place like Watertown, place like Buffalo, could even see 6 inches of snow just from the lake effect snow bands. And keep in mind, 6 inches, it doesn't sound like much. And believe me, for up that way, it's not that much at all. When you have 6 inches possibly falling in an hour or two, okay, that's going to be really catastrophic. Not as catastrophic as, say, a hurricane, but, you know, you get the point. It's extreme, it's hazardous. And look at this little band, Michigan, right there. 2-3 inches. You can see it's just like, you can see not only are the snow totals painted on the map, but you can see the fashion, how they're painted in bands. You can tell, like, look how this is like one little line. Okay, because the snowfall is coming in bands. That's the whole idea. Let's look at one model real quick and we'll wrap up. Here's the HRDPS again. There's the snow. They're saying here's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Still might be snowing in a place like Philly. But look at this. You start seeing magentas right here. Okay, when a model shows something like that, I mean, HRDPS and the RGEM are Canadian models. I'm not going to be, you know, I'm not going to single any model out or anything, but models like this, okay, are like the HD models, and even a NAM is like this too. And the fact that they just go really bullish on the precipitation. They go bullish on the rain, and they go bullish on the snow, in the sense that they just produce it too much. Like what they say is not going to be as much as what it comes out. Not all the time, but most of the time, I experienced with this models, yes, it's true. Or it could be true. But look at this. Look at this heavy snow getting ready to go into Halifax. But again, here comes that snow. And look at that really heavy snow just making its way east of Buffalo. And watch, you can see, like I was showing you with the other model. Look at this little guy. This little, you know, light blue, little flurry. La 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 la, and boom. Once it gets over in the Dover, okay, it goes right over to rain. Again, because it's not cold enough. But very heavy snow bands. It will be one thing about lake effect snow bands. Weather companies, when they do their forecast, they're gonna say this whole area has a chance for lake effect snow bands. I'm just giving an example. Okay, this whole area right here is gonna see lake effect snow bands. Doesn't mean everyone in that area I circled will. I'm just giving an example. But they're just saying that all the snow bands could occur in this area. So again, it's very isolated. They're Not guaranteed. Let's just look at the snowfall totals for this real quick. And same thing with the RGen pretty much, or similar. 6 inches here, 4 inches up by Watertown. So that is it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. And hopefully just stay safe out there. Got a new winter storm potentially late this week, so hopefully I'll be able to talk about that. Thank you for watching. I am the Weather Dude, signing off. Till next time. Catch you guys next video.